At the beginning of this wedding season, I was seriously considering hiring someone for our wedding business. We have a baby at home. Allie and I work on this business together, and there's just like not that many hours in the day. Like Allie can't do as much as she used to be able to. I was trying to make videos consistently for you guys, and I couldn't do it all. And so I needed help. The more that I looked into hiring someone, the more that I looked into like, what would that actually look like, what they would do. It didn't seem like the right time. It didn't seem like it would work right now for us. And at that same time, I was seeing a lot about AI editing. It was everywhere. And so I thought like, hey, maybe this will solve all of my problems, right? It's just gonna like edit all my weddings. It's gonna be amazing and beautiful. Around the time that I was thinking about all of this, I had a few AI editing people reach out to me and say like, hey, try our software and then maybe you can review it on your channel. And I tried them and they did not work at all. In fact, I felt pretty frustrated because I had gotten my hopes high that I was like, this is gonna solve this issue for me, and it wasn't. I felt like I wasted a bunch of time in the prime time wedding season trying to get these AI models to work for my photos, and it didn't work. And then a few months later, another company reached out, and that is Imagen AI. And I feel like I had seen that name around. I think I knew a photographer that used it and raved about it. And I was like, well, like, I kind of want to see, maybe this one is different. I don't know. Like, maybe I'll just try one more. Maybe it's going to be disappointing, but I think it's worth just trying something out. And so I edited 6 weddings with Imagen AI. And to give you a little hint of how it actually went, this video is sponsored by Imagen. Before we get into all the magical wonders of Imagen AI, I think there's 2 important questions to ask myself. And the first one is, will AI editing change your life? And my answer is no. The second question that I'll ask is, will AI editing change your life? And the answer is yes. Yes, it will. So how does the same question get answered 2 different ways? Well, I think it's based on what your expectations are. I think if you go into AI editing thinking like, oh my goodness, like these programs are gonna solve all my issues. I'm just gonna like take photos at weddings. I'm gonna upload it to it, and then it's just gonna send it to the client. It's gonna be done. It's gonna be beautiful. That, in my experience so far, is not what it's like. And that's not what I am looking for. I am not looking for an AI engine to completely edit, do everything for my photos, because I have particular decisions and choices that frankly change even from season to season. I update how I shoot. I update how I edit from year to year based on trends, based on what I'm liking, and just based on how I evolve as a wedding photographer. What I'm looking for is something to help me with the bulk of editing that I think of as backbreaking, that I hate, frankly, and the part of editing that a lot of people hate. And that's kind of the grunt work of getting your photos to like 80, 90% done. The basics of exposure, white balance, getting your photo, like applying your preset, like getting the photo to the place where then you can fine tune it, tweak it, and get it exactly how your eye wants it to look like. And that's what I was looking for. When I shoot a wedding, I estimate around 40 hours for shooting and editing a wedding. The actual shooting of it is somewhere between, 8 to 10 hours. And then after we shoot the wedding, I cull the wedding. That's like going through and sorting all the photos. Which one are we going to use? Which ones are we going to include as part of the gallery, as part of the album? That is a 2-step process for us, and it takes about 8 hours. And then after that is the first editing round. This is the backbreaking worst round, where I am getting I'm putting on my preset, I'm getting the exposure to where I want it to be, and I'm getting the white balance where I want it to be. Those are kind of the 2 main things that I do in my first round of editing. And this can take anywhere between 8 hours to 16 hours. It can be brutal. It is usually a multi-day event for me to get the photos to like an almost there position. And then my last round is the fine tuning. I usually do this. There's usually like kind of 2 sub rounds in here. And this takes somewhere between, 4 hours, 4 to 5 hours. And that is like the cherry on top. That's going through the final gallery and just like tweaking the photos to make that, so they're just perfect. And not only that, but that they're cohesive. And when you look at the full gallery, it's just like, mwah, beautiful. What I was looking for help in was this first editing round where it takes the most time out of all of the sections and honestly takes like zero artistic ability. I think for the fine tuning, I think for the culling, it definitely takes the artistic aspect of you as an individual that will make the style your style. Like the specific photos that you choose and the specific final touches that you do are ultimately going to make you different than other people. But that like main section of just getting the photo to a usable position is just mind-numbing work. And I needed help with that. And that's just like the genius of something like Imagen AI, where it gets my photos. It's not perfect by any means. I do not put my photos into Imagen and they're just like, wow, this is done. I don't have to do anything. No, I would say it really does. It gets my photos to like sometimes the 80%, 80, 90, 95, 99%. And there is a section of photos that are perfect. They're exactly how I want it. But it just takes out this huge section of time that I'm just like mind-numbingly listening to podcasts and trying to get my photos to a usable position. If I was to hire someone to do this exact same job, like I was estimating like for a whole wedding season, if you're shooting like 20 weddings and you need an editor for all of those, you're looking at spending, maybe up to $10,000. And I was looking at the same type of thing for Imagen AI for, at least at this time, their prices was going to be $1,000. So $1,000 versus $10,000 was a pretty good reason to at least just give it a try. And there is a link in the description below that they are giving you 1,500 free edits. So just like test it out, like try it on. You probably could edit 2 weddings with this and it will save you a bunch of time for free. Okay, so here I am inside Imagen. I'm gonna create a new project. One thing you can do is pretty cool is that you can get Imagen to cull your photos for you. But I'm focusing on editing today. So I'm gonna edit this project. It works really well with Adobe Lightroom. So I'm just gonna drag in my catalog. This I thought was really cool. Like you're able to select which photos you want edited inside of your catalog. I already went ahead and chose them to be purple. So I'm going to uncheck all of this and I'm just going to edit the purple photos. I'm going to choose all of these. All right. And so I'm going to call this YouTube AI editing. So I'm going to choose this AI profile. So what this AI profile is that in order to start with the program, you can do like a fast version of setting it up, but I did the kind of like longer version where you upload 3,000 or more images that you have already edited in a Lightroom catalog, and that's how the AI engine begins learning. And so it takes all of your past edits and then figures out okay, what do you want in the future? And then the cool thing is, as I edit more and more weddings, I can, I get Imagen to edit the wedding. And then when it's finished and I've done all my own personal tweaking in Lightroom, after the wedding's finished and sent off, I can hit upload my final edits again. And so that tells the engine hey, I didn't like how you did this. I liked how you did this. And it continues learning. The more that I use it, the more that it theoretically learns how I like my photos to be, which is really cool. So that's what this light and airy profile is. It's, how I edit photos, which is pretty cool. Okay, so it is a wedding thing. Again, there's lots of different things that you can do with it, but I'm focusing just on editing. That's all good. I'm gonna hit continue. Okay, so now it uploads it to their servers, it does its magic, and then I just click when it's ready, I just click download edits, and it puts the edits like in the catalog. So I don't have to do anything. It's gonna do its magic. I'm gonna open up my Lightroom catalog again, and my brand new edits are gonna be in there. And then poof, it opened up my Lightroom catalog, and here are the edits. So I'm just gonna go through them with you. I didn't look at this ahead of time, so I don't know how exactly it's gonna do each edit, but I'm gonna go through and see how it does, okay? So here's my first image, well, before, after. So it's taking my light and airy preset, and it's taking all of the thousands of photos that I've edited, and then figures out what I think I want it to look like, and it's pretty good. It's a pretty good job. This one maybe like this is what I'm talking about when I'm talking about these like really nuanced changes. Like I think her skin tone is a little too cool here, so I'm just gonna bring it up a little bit. But again, this is so much easier than what I was doing before. Like when you go from this to doing the first edit, you often need like a day or two for your eyes to reset, because once you've seen the raw image, it's kind of hard to fully edit the image like in one sitting. That's why I do multiple rounds of editing, because your eyes need like editing is tiring, and it's tiring on your brain and your eyes. And so what I love about this is that I'm doing the final tweaks. Like it looks beautiful. Look at that. It looks beautiful. And I'm just able to come in here and be like, okay, you know what? I want it a little bit more contrasty. Oh, I want this a little warmer. I think that's beautiful. Like, oh, maybe this is a little too magenta. I'm just gonna bring it back a little bit. It's a little too warm. And I'm just gonna brighten it up a little bit. These are the type of like really fine tuning that I'm talking about. I wanna make it a little brighter. But I gotta say, it's done a really nice job. It's done a really nice job in getting what I want. Really good. This is a little warm. I'd actually prefer it to be like down there. Honestly, okay. I find that AI does its best job at the reception. I don't know why, at least for my editing style. I find that like, especially when it gets to like dance floor and speeches and like that end part of the day, the photos are so close to being finished that it is a breeze to finish editing. And honestly, that can be a little bit of the tedious part to edit, because you're getting to the end, you're like, I'm almost there, I can do this. And I find that it works really well at that part of the day. Like, I would probably like this a little warmer because I want that kind of candlelight vibe. But like, I gotta say, these are pretty close. Okay, this is a little dark for me. I want to bring that up a little bit more. Maybe even the shadows a little bit. But again, this is probably actually a little better case scenario than how it always works. I feel like a lot of these photos are almost like, wow, it's doing a really good job. Okay, yeah, a little contrasty here. But this is what makes me so excited about using like AI editing, is that this needs to be a little bit warmer. Is that like it lets me do the thing that I'm best at, right? It lets me be the OCD artist photographer who makes the final tweaks, that can spend the time like making this thing as totally as beautiful as possible. And it frees me up from like doing stupid backbreaking work. This needs to be warmer. Yeah. Now, does this like just like take all of the editing? Ooh, this is not so good. This needs to be greener. A little tip. I don't know if you know what I'm doing here, but if you want to change the temperature and the tint in really like in small increments, you can just use the up and down arrow key. So as long as I'm hovering, like for example, I'm hovering over temp with my my mouse, and then I just hit the up arrow and the down arrow. That's how I do a lot of my fine tuning for my editing, just as a random tip there. A little warm for me here. But this just like changes editing for me to where I'm not worn out by the end of the gallery. Instead, I'm excited about my photos. I'm excited about what they look like, and I have time to make some more YouTube videos like this. So thanks again, Imagen, for sponsoring this video. And if you want to test it out, you get 1,500 free edits in the link below. So go edit 2 weddings for free, and maybe it will just give you as much time back as it did for me. Okay, bye.